Hey, it's Matthew Layton, and I thought I'd show you around my current project essentially. Within 2 weeks, this should be mine. I've already got keys handed over to let tradespeople in. Builders should be starting in 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, what I thought I'd do is show you the ideas I've got, what I'm going to have done. First of all, I think a lot of people are interested in the numbers. This property was bought for 125. Refurb after legals probably be an extra 50. And then what we're looking to do is refinance it in 6 months' time for about 200,000. Bricks and mortar in the area is about 200,000 anyway, and this is going to be a 6-bed HMO, so we're confident that worst case we should get around that value. The idea of this one is that it's currently a 5-bed licensed HMO, but what I'm going to do is eke out another room. There's already 6 bedrooms, but effectively what we're in now, which I'll show you, is reception room, 3, bathroom and kitchen. So the idea is we're going to knock it all through, create an open plan to get the 21 metres squared which is needed for it to be classed as a 6-bed HMO as per Newport Council. So what I first thought I'd do is kind of show you around floor plans. Now the idea of floor plans is massively important in my opinion. You always want to start off with how the property is going to look in the end, and this has been massively helpful when I've been talking to builders, electricians, plumbers for what needs to happen. So for example, at the moment we're in the kitchen. The idea is that we're going to knock through, and there's bathroom here, and create an open plan, get RSJs in this area to make this open plan, and to get the extra space, because this alone is like 19 metres squared, I need to pull this wall back underneath the stairs and then cheat a bit and put the door further down this area to make the 21 metres squared. It's a pretty open thing anyway. An open plan is generally the way people go at the moment, certainly how I want to live in houses. And as I say, these bedrooms generally stay the same, albeit is that I'm just lightening them up with colour, dark grey carpets, grey walls, white ceilings, feature wall. So yeah, let me quickly show you around. So start back this area and start from the front. So the idea of this one is, it's a pretty rundown property, to be honest. It's in need of a lot of work, which is why the refurb cost is probably about 50 grand essentially. It's to get up to standard. The external render, which was an unknown, I'll talk about unknowns in a bit, but that costs an extra few thousand because after another winter it will possibly fall down. So yeah, the door's going to be replaced as well, and there's a few of them in here that are single glazed windows still. It is currently used as a lounge. The idea is that you're going to have orange feature wall there, and all the other floors are grey. Above it is Artex, and I did get it costed. I wanted to dot and dab and cover it, but the cost didn't justify the appeal and the look. So it's one of them ones where sometimes you have to go looking at what the tenants are going to be in here. If they're going to be mega up class, then you should do that, because that's what you would look out for if you're living in a home. A little bit of a cheat that I got from looking at some other people's videos was with these panels, a way to modernise them is I'm going to get these brushed chrome panels for all the light sockets, but only for the sockets which are head height, the ones which are visible. The ones such as them down there, you keep them as white because they're going to be hidden by furniture. So small little hack to keep the costs down. Paint wise, as I said, you're going to have grey walls. This needs to be butted in. The HMO officers come back and said this is already a HMO, so a lot of the stuff is trying to reuse. So for example, I'm going to try and put door handles on front and back with the keys locking in, and then paint them dark grey with possibly even like a dark grey around the skirting. And the idea of what I'm trying to go for with the paint is to be different. If you only go for magnolia walls with the rest of the landlords, then ultimately there's only 3 differentiators you can go by. It's cost, quality and service. So ultimately I plan to be great. My letting agents I've already lined up are going to be great for service. quality is what I'm trying to base a lot of it on to stand out from the crowd, which means that I should be able to charge a premium of costs. I mean, you can see a bit of damp on this one. We're getting a bit of inspection on that, and we're thinking of putting boarding over the top of it. Or it might just be that this property hasn't really been used properly in probably 10 years, actually. So it's a case of just modernising and fixing bits. The idea, what I said about this hallway, is that the door is going to be where that radiator is, here. And it's going to be all part of the open living room there. Stairs are staying, probably put a bit of a built-in cupboard underneath with doors there. And then the wall for the thing is going to be moved from there, that's going to be knocked down to there. And the idea is that gives us our 21 metres squared. So now you'd come into what would be the lounge, and you can see up the floor plans, there's going to be a sofa there, probably a wall-mounted TV or TV on a coffee cabinet there. This wall, there'll be a few RSJs going across, but effectively this will be demolished and gone. The idea is that I want to create what I would want to live in, and that's open plan. Plus it just maximises the space. I mean, the thickness of that wall is 0.5 metres roughly. So once you get rid of that, you gain a lot of space. And the idea, which I'll show you on the floor plans, is this is what the kitchen is going to look like. So there's a bathroom there, that's going, and the door for the back. The kitchen is going to look like this. So that is where the wall would have been. So it's going to be open plan, wrapping around worktop. That's my idea of a dining table. At the moment I got a big giant range. This is a 6-bed HMO, and in Newport you only need you either need 6 ring hobs or a 4-ring hob oven cooker, plus a microwave oven. Now I'm getting the electricians to, probably what I want to do is think more about usability. So I want to know that my tenants will, when they hear and they're cooking, essentially what you want to do is be able to have more than one person cook at a time. So I'm going to potentially have 2 integrated hobs, 2 integrated ovens, 2 integrated hoods. So one there, like you can see on the floor plan there, essentially. Washing machine and tumble dryer goes on this side with the dishwasher on the back, sink, and then the idea is that the fridges, I'm going to have 2. Now, another little tip I got from reading or from watching some of the other videos that people have posted is with fridges, always go for, if you've got 6 people, at least 1 tray and 1 freezer shelf per person. And the same for cabinets. Now, with cabinets, what I'm doing is always at least 1 down and 1 up per tenant. So ideally I'm going to have 6 free storage, 6 wall ones and 6 ground ones, all of which tenants can use, because ultimately storage space is generally the one that you don't want to skimp on. There's a bathroom there currently, which looks awful, but that's going, and that wall window there is probably going to be bricked in. Garden is nothing too special. I think this gazebo or covering is going to stay, just because for people who want to come out, and we're in Wales, so when it's beautiful weather like this, little drizzle, shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done. All the single glazed windows are going to be replaced with double glazed. The idea is that when I'm going into the properties, I'm looking to keep them for 10, 20 years. So what I want to do is get it right once, and then that means that I don't have to come back and sort it out. So now I'll show you upstairs then. I think I showed you in here. Yep. Oh, in the hallways and stuff, basically communal areas. Now, generally, when you've walked into HMO properties, you've always seen that most of the time the heating's on and the lights are on. Now, whereas you're a landlord, what you want to do is make sure that your bills are minimised, essentially. So what I'm going to do is, for all the communal areas, I'm going to be installing motion sensor lights. So there's going to be 1 down in the hallway, and then 3 lights, motion sensors up here. And then in the bathrooms as well, there's going to be communal motion sensors, and in the kitchen downstairs. So that means then that basically when you're in a group room, odds are you leave the light on because you don't know if someone else is going to use this, so everyone leaves it on. And the same for heating. So with the heating, what I'm going to be doing is putting in a thermostat. So I think some people might have heard of them. Essentially, the it's a timer that you put on for a maximum of 4 hours. You can set it, but tenants only turn it on then when they're cold. So that stops it where, because you have someone who's on nights and someone who's on days, they end up just leaving it on because they never know who's going to be wanting the heat or not, which ends up costing you a lot more. So it's little bits like that that basically save you money and make you effectively more profit in the long run. Single glazed, I mean, stuff like this house is slightly a bit ajar at the moment, so when you see stuff like that, when you're looking at a property, sometimes that's always a good thing because you can negotiate a bit more on the price because it looks a lot worse. But equally, when you're looking at stuff like that, you can't see it well on the photo, but it's the light falling down, for example, it's not very good. I mean, ultimately with the floor plan, that bath, there's going to be a stud wall there. Where that radiator is, there's going to be a quadrant shower, toilet, basin with a vanity cabinet underneath and a mirror, and probably behind this door is going to be a radiator. And then literally it's going to be a carbon copy in here. There's currently a shower in this, but it's going to be, that wall's going to be moved and you're going to have a vanity cabinet, basin, shower, toilet as well. So if we move on, I mean, electrics would probably be a bit of a discount on here because it's already HMO. They've got currently a electric certificate come in to be renewed. So that works slightly better for me because where you have them lights, for example, which are obviously not really health and safety law, the current owner will have to pay essentially to get that stuff done and modernised. There's bits like that as well. I mean, that is caused by the external render falling off, which has meant water's gone down. So this is a really big room anyway. So part of the idea of this is to fix the outside, look to plaster that, but if that doesn't work, then you can put stud partition just off it to give it that fresh finish, because ultimately it looks awful at the moment. So yeah, radiators generally stay, fire doors stay. Bedrooms aren't really touched in terms of appeal. Double beds, furniture, wardrobes, chest of drawers, bedside cabinets. And then for these giant rooms, the idea is to put in tables, pod chairs and stuff like that. So again, motion sensor lights are probably going to go up there instead. And again, feature walls. I mean, some of the stuff that I've seen, which I plan to do again, is use bright colours, not everywhere, but in some places. But also what's quite quirky these days is wall art. So write-ins, quotes. The idea is just to get inspiration juices flowing. So there's the view, call this the penthouse view of Newport in the distance. So yeah, this is quite a decent attic space as well, actually. It's already integrated, which was handy for me because structurally it's just make stuff right. I mean, this house hasn't really been touched properly for 10 years, so it's 10 years worth of stuff that needs to be fixed. I mean, in here is incredible, actually. They've put in a king-size bed in probably the smallest room in the house. But hey-ho. The plan that I'm trying to use is never go below a queen-size bed. Double, ideally, wherever you can. But ultimately, never go for single if you can help it, because ultimately tenants want... they want to know that they can bring someone home, potentially. So yeah, that's the outside view. Someone next door has got a really nice garden, which helps for the view for this perspective. So yeah, that's it. What I thought I'd do now is kind of go away and give you some tips on what I've learnt from this current project so far to help you going forward. So yeah, we're back downstairs now, and you can see there's a lot of work to do in this property, but 6 to 8 weeks from when building starts, it should be a totally different place. A few tips that I'd say when I've been working in this property. The first one is effectively go by trusted recommendations. So ideally when you're starting off your HMO or any development work, you've got so many people to start off with. You've got letting agents if you don't want to do it yourself, solicitors, brokers. But then when you do start your refurb projects, you need builders, electricians, plumbers, painters. But ideally with this big work, you want a builder who essentially project manages effectively for you. And that's what I was looking at. And to be honest, I brought in 6 people, because that's my other tip, get more than one quote. But I got stung for essentially all of them picked up different problems and all of them quoted differently. So the challenge is that what I should have done, which is my tip to you, is make a schedule of works. Now a schedule of works doesn't need to be overcomplicated, but basically it's almost like a snag list to say what you want done in every room. And effectively this is what a snag list looks like. I've just done this for my electricians that I've just had round. So effectively you look up per floor, and then in each floor which rooms in the floor, and then in each one you put a bullet point to say this is what I want done in this room. And the idea then is that, you know, literally I've had some come away and take this off me and basically fill in the blanks. It's 2 costings, isn't it? There's labour, the time to actually do it, and the materials, the cost to actually buy the stuff you need. So that's been massively helpful, and I should have had that for the builders, because the challenge I had with builders is that someone came with one fee and no breakdown. Some people came down with, oh, that's the fee to do the front bedroom. Others just came back and said, oh, quite specific. But the challenge is you need, when you're getting multiple quotes, to get apples versus apples, and that's what made it really hard. So hopefully the schedule of work should be a lot better. So yeah, get more than one quote. Oh, and the other one is always make a floor plan. So this is my floor plan, and it's really easy to do. Essentially you come in, bring your measuring tape, measure up, or you don't even have to do that, you can do some guesswork. This floor plan, there's an online website, great tool, it's called homestyler.com, HOMESTYLER.com, and effectively you can drag rooms and then make the widths and then bigger and smaller as needed, drag walls around and connect them like a game of Tetris. And then it allows you to select through a bunch of catalogs items you want. For example, the beds, you can adjust the width, bedside cabinets, wardrobes, chest of drawers, doors and so on. And it's a great tool because you can quickly, I think this probably took me 10 minutes to do all the structural stuff. And then it's just drag and drop, like you're creating your Sims house essentially. It's as easy as playing a game of Sims, I'd say, if you haven't played it yet. The benefit of this is that you can draw around stuff and make sure that it is what you want. And when I've given these to electricians, you know, they know, for example, that that's where I want the 2 hobs. They know that's where I want the sink. They know that's where I want the TV. So that gives them the idea of, if I say I want sockets next to all the beds, then obviously if I've decided these are where the beds are, then they're going to put the sockets here, on either side with the lights. So it kind of helps eliminate frustrations later down the line, and it also helps you get really clear on what you want the end product to look like. The other benefit of this is that you can do a kind of Google Street Maps where you can drag a little man in and you can get views of the what it would look like this. So that's the other bit. But yeah, that's me, Matthew Layton. If you want to know any more, feel free to get in touch. I'm happy to share this and some of the projects I'm doing already. Or if you want to get involved, if you live local to Newport, then by all means you can come and follow the progress through this property. Cheers, bye.